Okay, take two. My son's dog Bear was out here and he was being too noisy, and somehow I shut off the video. So we're going to start this again. Hey, look at our messy grill. It's Saturday, September 28th, 8 o'clock in the morning. I slept in a little bit later. I haven't been sleeping well. I've been stressed out at work, trying to do some streaming. Sorry. Had soda to take my medicine. And still helping my mom with her meals and stuff. She's doing better. She was doing a lot of exercising and going up and down our driveway. Our driveway is real steep, and she's in her 80s. So you could about imagine what that was like for her to go up and down the hills. I've convinced her that maybe she needs to find a different exercise. But she has a sciatica nerve problem. She's had that ever since I was born. Evidently, my head was too big, and her body wouldn't give, so it tore. And so she's had that injury. And it's all my fault. I know it's not, but can't help it. Anyway, she did too much exercises, and it really exacerbated her condition, so she ended up in bed quite a bit. We got her a wheelchair, so she's doing pretty good. She's getting around on her own in the wheelchair. She's taking herself to the restroom now, which I had to do at the beginning. That's quite an experience. Anyway, long story short, we've all been pretty tired. That's why I slept in. Aren't you glad I had a tangent story for you today? Anyway, this is the beans experiment. And what I was telling you earlier that you missed was our temperatures. When we planted these, when we planted the beans, we were coming down from the 100s, and we were in the low to mid 90s. Let me give you an upper. Low to mid 90s. And just this last week, we started creeping back up to the hundreds. It's like been 105. The high is supposed to be 110 one day, but it's going to be another week, and it's going to come back down to the low 100s. So I'm hoping that's a sign that we're breaking out of the 3 digits and going to the 2 digits. But here's the beans. Enough talking. I'm really grateful for the soaker hose that they have. As you can see, it gets water twice a day. And with a soaker hose, it's not like it's going to considerably drown out the area. It's just going to release the water through the hose and into the soil. And the soaker hose looks just like that. It's a hose that when the water comes through, there's holes, little holes in the hose, and the water comes dripping out. It's kind of like sweating out of the hose, and it dampens the soil. So you can see here, the soil's been pretty well keeping a good moisture and not overwatering, so I'm really happy about that. We have a main line that comes in that feeds the water. It's on a timer twice a day, early in the morning and again later in the afternoon towards evening time. And what you do is you take a little applicator and you poke a hole in it, and it has a connector that regulates how much water comes from the main and into the hose. And you could get them where they drip or come through a gallon, so many hours type of situation. And then you put on your soaker hose, which comes in a big roll, and you just cut off the length that you want. So I have one that goes and it curls all the way around and all the way back to right there. Anyway, this is the Kentucky Wonder. It's a pole bean, which means that on the end of it, it's going to develop little feelers that once it senses an object, it's going to wrap itself around it and climb. So we figured we'd try one pole bean, and I put it here in the corner so it doesn't get too much light in the morning, and it's also shaded. I don't know, it blocks our high winds that we get sometimes. Oh, my nose is dripping. Okay, then we're testing out bush beans. What grows well here this time of year? So this one right here is Blue Lake. Let me take that out. Compared with my hand, these are doing really good. Aren't they beautiful? So I did 2 rows of the Blue Lake. Let's put the gate back. I had to put these up to keep the dog out of it, because he would jump up here getting excited about dogs in the neighborhood and just get up here thinking that he could escape over the wall. He's pretty big. Okay. Then we have the Contender. Yeah, the Contender. It didn't do so well. You see how every bean kind of came out and it's filling out the area? This one's spotty. But, well, you have to take into consideration it is its own self. It's just like humans. We all come in different packages. So the proof is going to be in the pudding when it comes time to harvest. But what I was hoping for a better looking bean, and I guess for our area it's not working out that well for the Contender. It's not a Contender. And as you can see here, there's some that may be having a late start. Anyway, jury's still out on that one. And then the last one, which I think is doing really well, is the Provider. Just as its namesake, it's providing. But again, yeah, you look green, you look full, but how do you produce? We're going to find out later on that as well. But look how bushy they are. Here's my hand compared to them. We don't have any flowering yet, but I'll tell you what, maybe in 1 week, we'll get some flowering. So I looked up, we usually, once a week, we did in the summer, I'll show it to you. We get the bottle fertilizer, which comes from, here it is. Miracle Grow liquid feed. Helps grow high quality fruits and vegetables. What you do is you take a whole container and you put it in a spray. It goes right in the container there. So as you're watering, the water comes in, goes down, mixes, and then comes out and fertilizes. We used to do that weekly, and I'll probably do it again this weekend. But I was looking up for beans. When should I start doing the regiment, of liquid fertilizing them? And it was saying that you really don't need to fertilize. The first thing you do is you prepare your soil. We talked about that in the previous episode. Then they germinate, they come up, but when they start flowering is when you would take your liquid fertilizer and you would spray them down, and then they'll have a period where there's growth and they start to develop little bean pods. And when they do that, then that week we'll spray them down again. And then from that point forward, once a week, you would give them, a light fertilizing. So I really like the Kentucky Wonder. It's doing really well. The Blue Lake's not too bad. I think the test is going to be how it flowers and how they produce. Contender, not happy with that one. And Provider, I think if you compare the Blue Lake to the Provider, I see quite a difference. So Provider is first in my book, then Blue Lake, and I wouldn't bother with Contender. And that's for your green beans. For your pole beans, we really didn't do, maybe in the spring, we'll do another type, but I think I'm really proud and really enjoy the Kentucky ones. So that's it for the beans. If you haven't had an opportunity, there's also another video out there that I'm going to put in after this one, and it's about the rest of my garden. Thanks for joining, guys. Have a wonderful next week. You sure deserve it. Talk to you later.